Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Capricorn July 20th, 2022. Venus is now in your partnership sector, where it will transit until August 11th. This is one of the more hospitable, relationship-oriented periods of the year, when you tend to attract warm, pleasant, or helpful people into your life, and when you are especially attentive to others' needs and wants. It's not the time to tackle deep issues, but it's a solid period for pleasant interactions. Making concessions and compromises can be beneficial during this period. Others can push your buttons early today, and it may be all too easy to take a different viewpoint as a personal affront. It can be a good idea to channel extra energy into productive activities. However, in some cases, disagreement or conflict may be just what a relationship needs right now, revealing important buried issues that could do with some addressing. You've had a sweet few days of magic and sensitivity in your relationships. However, today's cosmic weather could escalate into an all-out war. As mental Mercury continues to shimmy quickly and carelessly across the sky from you in your solar 7th house of partnerships, he will suddenly feel a knife in the neck from an angry Pluto now in your solar 1st house of identity. This guarantees power struggles, conflict, and a furious battle of ideas between you and a partner. If you're not seeing eye to eye, take a deep breath and speak from a place of love. Agree to revisit this topic later on. There is always something to learn from your relationships. You may want to consider your silver lining in your professional commitments and partnerships when Mercury in Cancer opposes Pluto retrograde in your sign. Touching base with your colleagues, supervisors, or clients could lead to a greater understanding of your work environment. Something may be said that gives you a different perspective of your role within that partnership. Hopefully, your conversations will boost your confidence instead of making you feel unsure of your professional position. Remain positive that you are working with the right people. Your mind is like a sponge, happiest when it is absorbing information. As you age, your thirst for knowledge seems to intensify. You bring a lot to the table these days, what with your breadth of knowledge and experience. Expect to be asked to speak at a meeting or public forum. People want to learn from your expertise. Use this time to renew contacts with your family. They will be pleased, and you might even be able to resolve old conflicts, as a mediator or by taking the first step to clear matters up. The constellation is favorable for burying the hatchet once and for all. There are only so many people in the world, and this person you've been flirting with seems pretty special. Make your interest known before someone else has a chance to make a move. In touch with your emotions, you are fortunate to be so clear about your feelings, which helps you decide exactly what to do. Whether you are looking for casual dates or interested in starting a more serious relationship, you make the right choice. Start planning how best to pursue your own happiness. You're usually a very practical person. You pride yourself on your self-control and your ability to block out inappropriate emotions. But today your feelings could be intense, making you confused. You could find yourself upset about something minor, and you could wonder why this is disturbing you so much. Don't block out your emotions, because they will only get stronger. Try to meditate and center yourself to explore the meaning of these feelings. This day can give you the courage to be bolder and more daring. This can really help you to get more of what you really want. If you feel ready to speak up today, don't hesitate or talk yourself out of it. Go for it. Recognize that your wants, needs, opinions, and goals are just as important as anyone else's. Further, if it's going to happen, it's up to you to make it so. After just 15 days in your relationship sector, Mercury, the planet of communication, leaves today, but as he does, he leaves both your relationships and the communication lines in safe hands. While the Sun will keep the solar spotlight on your relationships for another 3 days, Venus only returned 2 days ago, with the planet of love not only staying on but set to work closely with the planets in your communication sector over the coming weeks. This comes as the Sun's clash with Pluto is exposing what you want from your relationships and what they need from you. 2 days after Venus, the planet of love returned to your relationship sector. Mercury leaves, just as the Sun is once again putting the spotlight on a balance between your personal and relationship needs. While Mercury leaves you with the means to keep the communication lines open, responsibility for keeping them open now lies with you. Meanwhile, Venus will be using this to help you better understand what you want from your relationships and what they need from you. Our eyes in the sky. Loving Venus just moved into caring Cancer, so you're probably bending over backward to make sure everyone around you feels safe and comfortable. This is all fine as long as you're taking some much-needed time out for yourself. Putting yourself first during this compassionate transit is an often overlooked but necessary task to avoid emotional burnout. Communicative Mercury is also paired with sensitive Cancer during its moody opposition to dark Pluto today, stirring up all kinds of suspicion and manipulative tendencies. It's so easy to get your feelings hurt and hurt other people's feelings now, so be very careful about how you respond and what you say. When you sense any type of betrayal, your first instinct is to get revenge, but fighting negativity with more negativity during this touchy aspect usually backfires. Fortunately, any tension from the day will all seem like water under the bridge tonight when the moon changes signs into compassionate Pisces while forming a conjunction to benevolent Jupiter. This vibe is perfect for making amends, so if you did butt heads with someone earlier, now would be the time to smooth things over. Be sure to pamper yourself a bit before bed in order to fully de-stress after a rather hectic day. Just after midnight, Mercury in Cancer opposes Pluto in Capricorn, inspiring arguments. This is an aspect of contention. Paranoid thoughts, suspicious behavior, or intimidation tactics are par for the course. Others' polarizing opinions act as catalysts that change the way we think or speak. Fundamental ideas about our history or identity may be challenged now, threatening something seemingly essential to our core personhood. Time and distance are required to see if this is an accurate assessment or a knee-jerk conclusion that we have leaped to out of fear. If we are involved in a conflict, we are apt to bury our emotions and stew, exploding when we finally hit our breaking point. Following this connection, the moon begins its void of course. The best way to get what we desire is to keep our eyes on our own paper and refuse to feed the green-eyed monster. Over the next 2 days, we are content to put our heads down and make steady, deliberate progress towards our goals. On an emotional level, a fixation with optical victory can have us behaving somewhat serious and sober. We might come off as cold to others, however, it is not that we are unfeeling now. We simply understand the work required to achieve our ambitions and are undaunted by distractions. Remember that there are ways to plod conscientiously toward success without making life into one endless chore. Shortly following this, the moon squares off with Jupiter in Aries, making us prone to excess. Today, we are interested in forming the social connections that will enable us to accomplish our desired agenda. Following this, Mercury conjuncts asteroid Ceres, fueling the tensions of the early morning's Mercury-Pluto opposition. Currently, we are speaking up for our needs, or advocating for the needs of others. But in many ways, we are too close to the action, too invested to look at situations objectively. We can therefore demand that others respect our needs while failing to reciprocate unless their priorities are aligned with our own. Avoid making false promises to manipulate situations in your favor.